Bonjour, today let's have a look at the French pronouns I and en, and let's have a look how we use them in French. Okay, let's have a look at I and en as pronouns. You must have seen them in sentences and often wondered how to use them or what they are. So the objective of this lesson is to revise the role and use of the pronouns I and en. To start with, let's have a look at I. Okay, this is just the letter I, as in an Y. It is a pronoun referring to a previously mentioned place introduced by a preposition, such as à, which means to, en, which means to as well, dans, which means in, or chez, which means at someone's house. It can be translated by there in English. It appears before the verb. I think the best way for me to try to make you understand how to use I is by using a few sentences. So, it is showing how to use I to refer to a place. For example, let's have a look at this one. Tu vas à la bibliothèque aujourd'hui? Question mark, okay. Are you going to the library today? So you're going to say, but when do we use I here? Well, basically, like I said a minute ago, it means there. So we want to say to this question, so are you going to the library today? Yes, I am going there. So because it's a pronoun, it's going to replace à la bibliothèque. And how are we going to do it? By putting I instead. Okay, so the answer to this question will be oui, j'y vais. Can you see that? J'y vais. So that's answering the question without repeating the whole à la bibliothèque thing. Yes, I am going there. And by the way, the reason why you have an apostrophe with je here is because it's an I, and Y is here I sound, so a vowel sound. You can't have the two next to each other. We've got to drop the I. So, another example referring to I. Tom et Alice habitent en France. Tom and Alice live in France, okay? Now you could say they have been living there since a year or for the last year, okay? Now have a look at this sentence. Tom et Alice habitent en France. Ils y habitent depuis un an. Ils y habitent depuis un an. Now you will hear the the sound because il has an S. We're referring to Tom et Alice. They, okay? They live there. They have been living there for 1 year. Ils y habitent depuis un an. Now see that I, okay, referring to France here. We don't need to repeat that because we've got this very handy pronoun that does just that. So, Tom and Alice live in France. They have been living there for 1 year. Let's have a look at another example. Les élèves sont-ils dans la classe? Are the pupils in the classroom? And we want to say, yes, they are in the classroom. But because we don't want to repeat in the classroom, we have this very handy pronoun called I. So we would say, where would you put it? Before I reveal, have a look at the sentence. Les élèves sont-ils dans la classe? We want to say, yes, they are there. But have a look at the fact that I always comes before the verb. So you want to say they are. It is ils sont. And then you add this very handy pronoun before the verb. I, ils y sont. And that means, yes, they are in the classroom. Okay? Do you get that? Let's have a look at another example. Paul est allé chez Sam ce matin. Il y retournera demain. Paul est allé chez Sam ce matin. Il y retournera demain. Okay. Now we want to replace chez Sam. Okay. Chez Sam. At Sam's house. Now remember that I always comes with this preposition à. Okay. Now Paul est allé chez. Okay, or chez, by the way, preposition chez and à or en, like I said at the beginning. So Paul went to Sam's house this morning. He will return there tomorrow. il y retournera demain, okay? Now you could say il retournera chez Sam demain. He will go back there at Sam's house tomorrow. We want to avoid the whole chez Sam, so we put a pronoun I. Now, can you get that, okay? Is it all really clear? And could you make your own sentence using I? Now, I is also used to replace the preposition à plus something with verbs such as penser à. So that means to think about. Now, you could say je pense, I think, but when you want to say I think about you, you would say je pense à and then toi, if you wanted to say that. Now, verbs such as penser, that comes with à, or réfléchir, which comes with à, to think about, to reflect on, okay, ou s'intéresser à, to be interested in, always will come with I if you wanted to replace the à, okay, or anything preposition that come after these verbs. Now, let's have a look at an example. I think the best way for you to learn is through examples, okay? So, tu penses à ton avenir? Do you think or are you thinking about your future? And you want to say, yes, I am thinking about it. So we say, oui, j'y pense. Can you say that? Oui, j'y pense, okay? And the why here just replaces à ton avenir. Yes, I am thinking about it. I'm thinking about my future. But we are not saying that. We are saying I, which means about my future. Now, let's have a look at another sentence. Tu t'intéresses à la musique? Tu t'intéresses à la musique? And as you can see, I've said to you that I can be used when we use verbs such as penser à, réfléchir à, intéresser à. So it's all interested about something, okay? Are you interested in music, okay? In music in general. And we want to say, no, I am not interested in music, okay? So you want to say, non, je ne m'y intéresse pas, okay? Now, note here that we have tu t'intéresses. Now, there is a t apostrophe. And this reflects to the reflexive verb s'intéresser, to be interested into something yourself. And so you've got to reflect that into your answer. So you want to say, I am not interested. So therefore, need to have the reflexive pronoun that comes with it. So je me intéresse, je m'intéresse, I have interest or I'm interested in this. You need to reflect that into this answer. Non, je ne m'y intéresse pas. So this is where the I comes from, always before the verb. I stands for à la musique here. Can you see that? À la musique. Are you interested in music? No, I am not interested in it. I is also used in some expressions such as il y a, there is or there are, like allons-y, let's go. For example, you can say tu es prêt? Are you ready? Allons-y, let's go. Okay, you will find on y va, for example, on y va, let's go as well. Okay, so this is obviously a short lesson on I. Okay, but I want you to be aware of its role. Okay, now you're going to say, but how come you are comparing the I with on? That's because they have the same role, really. Let's have a look at on now. On is a pronoun which replaces de plus a noun. It is also used to replace de plus a noun with verbs which require the preposition de, such as avoir besoin de, to need, avoir envie de, to want, s'occuper de, to deal with. It can be translated by some or of them or it, and it appears before the verb as well. Okay, you're going to say, well, give me some examples. That's the best way I can learn. Okay, elle mange des pommes. Does she eat apples? Yes, she eats apples every day. But we don't want to say she eats apple every day. We want to say she eats them every day. Them referring to des pommes. And this is where en comes from. So we would say, oui, elle en mange tous les jours. elle en mange tous les jours. Does she eat apples? Yes, she eats some or them every day. Now, another question could be, as-tu du lait? Do you have some milk? Du lait. And because it comes with du or de, we've got to replace this with a pronoun en. So we want to say, yes, I have some. You would say, oui, j'en ai. Okay? So that replaces, oui, j'ai du lait. But you wouldn't say du lait, you would say en before the verb in order to replace du lait. So, oui, j'en ai. Now, another example could be, avez-vous des livres? Avez-vous des livres? Do you have books? And you want to say, yes, I have a lot of them, of them. So you don't want to say of them in English, of course, in French, you want to say en, okay? So yes, oui, j'en ai beaucoup. Can you see that? J'en ai beaucoup. I have a lot of them. And of them comes before the verb. En, okay? J'en ai beaucoup. Okay? Do you have books? Yes, I have a lot of them. Now have a look at this expression. As-tu besoin de l'ordinateur? Now remember that we can use en when there is a preposition such as de. As-tu besoin de l'ordinateur? It comes from avoir besoin de, which means to need, okay? And you want to say, for example, no, I do not need the computer. But you want to say, no, I do not need it, okay? So you want to say, non, okay, je n'en ai pas besoin. Non, je n'en ai pas besoin. Can you see that? Okay? Now, because avoir besoin comes with de, when you replace it with a pronoun, it has to be en. Okay? Non, je n'en ai pas besoin. No, I do not need it. Okay? But equally, if you wanted to say, yes, I need it, you would say, oui, j'en ai besoin. Oui, j'en ai besoin. J'ai besoin de l'ordinateur. Oui, j'ai besoin de l'ordinateur. But you don't want to say de l'ordinateur. You've got to replace it by a pronoun. It is en. Okay? So, let's have a look at another one. Elle parle du film. Does she talk? Is she talking about the film? Elle parle du film. And you want to say, yes, she's talking about it. Okay? You would say, oui, elle en parle. Okay? Yes, she's talking about it. Okay? And because the verb is parler de. Okay? Now, this is the difference between I and en. And I'm often asked, but what is the difference between I and en? It's quite simply this. It really depends on what you're replacing the whole sentence by. So be very careful. Watch this video again because I know it is a lot of information. And you might still not get when to put the I and when to put the en. Quite simply, the I is when you replace something by their. Okay, the en is when you replace something by them or some or of them. Okay, and that's all you need to know for the time being. Now, this lesson is available with a support guide. I do encourage you to download it because the lesson like this, you need to see it written down as well. Okay, that's it for me. Subscribe to Learn French with Alexa and leave a comment. Au revoir, à bientôt. Bisous, bisous.